SoFi's at a big spot. We have seen stock price get to that $30 level, rejecting. We have called out the $30 test within our last video at $25, and it does appear a very core level will be tested within the next few days, being that all-time high breakout at 28.26. My name is Dylan from Dylan's Trades. We're going to break straight into this SoFi technical analysis breakdown using a variety of different technical analysis techniques. Get a very good price prediction, top levels to watch, and much more. So, there is a lot going on with the weekly analysis. Once again, guys, it's a very volatile stock, but the main two things you want to run with this weekly is the all-time high breakout. Stock price did get to that $28.26 around that 2021 duration shortly after IPOing. A lot of volatility pushing to that. This was actually a multiple 100% movement, a 200% move. Stock price quite literally doubled within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an explosive 6th week on the market, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, top out at 20.26. So the analysis was after expecting that $25 test from these lower $12 levels, which we have been following from SoFi. When we break over 25, are we going to break above $30 or reject? That was the first obvious price target. As of now, we are seeing the most negative look that we have seen on SoFi over the last few months. And really, for the most simple essence being that stock price has had multiple green weeks continuing, really no pullbacks whatsoever. The one red week we do see is just a pretty nice hammer candle holding this gain pretty well. This is a healthy look after such a major breakout within this cup and handle structure. Then we exit this into more consolidation, breaking above with multiple green weeks continuing, little to no dips, just a lot of strong movement from the bulls. And now we're seeing a inverted hammer candle. So this is the spot where we want to see stock price hold at this obvious $28.26 level. This is a very, good example of when technical analysis is all leading up to that one spot. If we see that $28.26 level break, this is breaking below this weekly low and setting that next lower low, and we are likely to climb lower. So a lot of parameters are set around this $28 level, right? There's a chance we break below that, go to 28.10, get that bounce. It's not an exact level, guys. It's a parameter held and defended within a battle isn't fought within 2 minutes. That's where a lot of technical analysis guys get things wrong. From a live perspective, beginners, they think right when it gets over level buy, right? Patient buyers know to wait to see psychology. So all in all, though, the weekly does look good for the bulls, but you have to establish that there is some selling pressure beginning within the market. And if 28.26 is broken, once again, this inverted hammer candle, we could see more of a pullback leading back to these upper wicks before leading into that breakout around that 26.40 level. We will monitor that if that happens live. So on the daily, all in all, we see another parameter leading to that ascending trend line, a very obvious ascending trend line, by the bulls stepping up with this bid liquidity, not just in ascending trend line, but when stock price does get to this level, we see a very nice reaction. Very nice reaction. A strong a strong bullish engulfing candlestick, pressing with multiple consolidation, leading back to that, touching this ascending trend line, getting that pop, pulling back one more time, pop. So is there a world where, stock price does dim out for a few days, testing the waters, and then gets that next leg up? I do think that is most likely, guys. As of right now, looking at the daily, you got to trust these strong ascending trend lines, especially in these breakouts. We were following a very similar ascending trend line previously around these $14 levels, establishing it very early. It's more of an hourly trend line more than a daily. But this is a very strong one where stock price, really more or less just hugged on this level, pushing up about an 80% movement within a couple of weeks. So we're seeing one of these also form out as of right now, pulling back to this obvious spot where, once again, this big blue line is that $28.26 level. So we're seeing a double padded support really right at this core level. So if 28.26 is broken strong by the bears, the only next logical test is that $27.2694 level, and then 26.42. So we're in a pretty pivotal spot where you could be buying the exact low. This is always a good setup, right? Seasoned traders know this. Breaking over a core level, right? The initial money gets squeezed out. sellers begin to enter their position, getting a little weary before new buyers enter the market, squeezing sellers out, and then a euphoric surge, retest, and then from here we either break out or reject. So if we do bounce from this level and show some positive momentum, the overall market trends, nice, we should be expecting that $30 test, and that is a very high probability, just being that once again we are pulling back to this level, still holding above it by 20 cents currently recording this video. And as of now, we're still, about 50 cents above this ascending trend line. So this does give a little bit more insurance to potentially pop below that 2026. So all in all, we don't want to overanalyze it too much, as we'll quite literally just watch. We could see a couple hammer candles print within the next few daily candles, and that does make the most sense. 1, 2, 3 days of not doing much, just bidding, as there's not enough data for buyers to push things up, push stock price up aggressively come the next few days and get that next leg up. But the sellers have not cracked beneath 2026, so I do expect we see the battle tested at this level for at least 1, 2 days, filling out this pocket until likely once again pulling back to this spot. So there's a lot of upside in play. Keep that in mind if we do see the buyers do their thing once again. With that being said, we're going to analyze the hourly and get you guys out of here. The hourly gives us a good gauge within the short term. Once again, these are the hourly candlesticks, and it just gives you a really good gauge within the next 1, 2, 3 days. So all in all, you see the seller step in after breaking this momentarily. Couple day ascending channel. This is a very sharp channel moving up. These are hard to sustain, and you've seen the drop right outside of it, and then accumulation for about 4 hours, holding this range and then breaking beneath it pretty violently, coming to retest the top of the support, using it as resistance, and then moving down and breaking a retest. So from a short-term movement, you definitely see sellers accumulating. It's not the best look, but we do see the liquidity drying up here. The candles are getting thin at this 28-26 level, and that does lead me to believe that you will see this pocket more or less happen. I wouldn't be rushing to trade SoFi coming into the next few trading days from a short-term perspective, just being that we're very likely to, consolidate for a few days, not do much, accumulate, and test these buyers at this all-time high. See if, to see if we're going to get that leg to eventually $35, $40, which is a very live situation, and we have mentioned on the channel over the last few months. Right, this can't happen, but we're seeing a very critical weakness flipping back to the weekly now. Once again, that inverted hammer candle. If we see more continuation below this, you can definitely see that next drop. I mean, this is a very live green to red pullback situation. In fact, we have seen the last about 20 weeks all green, besides this one baby red. Nice tight consolidation, not even a negative red candle. So it just makes sense in the simplest essence. So zooming back to the hourly, seeing us get thin here, hovering right at this core level within this ascending trend line, this dashed blue ascending trend line, and this big bright blue 28-26. There's a lot of data points here, but I don't think we're ready just to move quite yet. But I could be wrong. We could see the bulls step up come the next few trading days and get that next leg up. This could always happen. SoFi has surprised many times than not, and it's taking the fast track. As of now, everything is healthy, but you want to keep an eye really on that one level, that $28 to be safe, just being that's a 26-cent insurance, but 28.26 to be exact. Zooming back to the weekly, that all-time high. I mean, this is a very important measurement. That got us that quick pop over 30, and that's why we set that price target at $30 after reaching our $25 price target. So, SoFi has been very predictable, and we're seeing weakness at a very core level, pull back to that 20-26 with this ascending trend line. Also, very close to that vicinity, giving that double padded support. There is a good chance the bulls do step up here and do their thing, right? The data would lead to that, but we do got to keep in mind that we are seeing a big weakness off that $30 level. So all in all, we do remain more neutral into the next few days until we see more data form out. If you had to lean aside, you would say stock price will go up, guys, but we got to remain data oriented. And as of now, we need to see stock price bid here for a few days and see what the buyers and sellers can do. If you see some strong buying momentum within the next few days, great chance we are going to test $35 and head up higher. I mean, SoFi is a very strong stock. I'm not going to be the guy with the crystal ball, to say this thing is going to pull back, especially as we still are above all-time high. But seasoned investors do know when to analyze when, short money is attempting to get in. So will they get squeezed out to the upside, or will they get the next movement? To be determined. As of now, very 50-50. If you guys found any value in the video today, consider dropping a sub and a like. Once again, I wish you'd give a little bit more of a concrete analysis, but we need to let stock price simmer. If I had to pick a side, you got to go with the historical uptrend, as we have it at a $30 price target and rejected. It's a very bad sign. You see stock price pull back at a core level, but we could see that 28.26 being defended. And if stock price holds above it for a few days, we're almost certainly gonna, get the retest. So definitely not going to be bearish on SoFi here. Would not be wise, but I'm not looking to buy SoFi, at least until we see a little bit more defense around this from a short-term perspective.